everyone, welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. Beautiful weather here today. It was hammering down with rain, slightly chilly now. But,
absolutely freezing.
We love to talk about the weather on this on these videos. So yeah, absolutely freezing, but an absolutely belting race to start the season. We knew it was always going to be tighter than perhaps last year with the cars getting closer, but we were treated to a real spectacle today, wasn't we?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Australia often delivers, but I do think that, being start of the calendar again, also some, changeable conditions really made for an interesting race.
So Lando Norris wins. That's only half the story, of course. He was running so close with his teammate Oscar Piastri for so long. As an Aussie, Emily, what happened?
Look, absolute heartbreak. That's what happened. Look, he made a small error, and when we spoke to Andrea Selleck after the race, and he said it really looked like either of them could have won it up until that point. But he did say that, right after the race, Oscar was still in good spirits, and the team assured him, you will have more chances this year.
Yeah.
There will be other Australian Grand Prix, but I'm sure it's not the celebration that he was hoping for here in Melbourne.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately he finished down in 9th place, so he gets a couple of points, but he is 23 points behind his teammate, who many people are predicting to win the championship this year. So, incredibly difficult, for him to come so close. Obviously, so many fans cheering him on, hugely disappointing. But of course, the other side of the garage, Lando Norris, I thought he was, survived, didn't he? He went off and went through the gravel and, managed to hold it together and battle back. And, I think for me, he showed some sort of, this mental toughness that he keeps talking about. He didn't panic, he didn't lose his cool on the radio, he knuckled back down again, regained the lead, and ultimately, even with that pressure from Max Verstappen, who finished second, right behind him, Lando managed to get home and do the job that he needed to.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like it almost kind of sets the tone for what this season could be for him. It feels like it's really been building to this point over the past few seasons. His head seems to be in the right place, and who knows what'll happen this year.
Yeah. I thought Max was interesting in the press conference. Did the most that he could. Many people making a lot of the fact that Red Bull's performance isn't where they want it to be, and he hasn't got that cushion that he has in the past. But ultimately, he seems to deliver as much as he can. He always gets the best out of the car, and I think he could be happy with solid second place.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't want to jump ahead, but you look at Lawson and it really goes to show that Max does get the best out of that car whenever he's on track.
Yeah, you mentioned Lawson. He had a spin, one of the rookies that crashed out. I mean, it was a really tough day for the rookies, wasn't it? I mean, not only is this circuit very green and it's a street circuit, they hadn't done much running or any running on the wet tyres, and obviously we had so much downpour before the race. It was difficult.
Yeah, would you have predicted that we'd only see two rookies at the end of the race?
Well, I mean, one of them, I would have had there. I thought Kimi Antonelli had a good race. Yeah. Ultimately finished 4th. He did cross the line in 4th. He was then demoted due to a 5-second time penalty for an unsafe release in the pit lane. But then the FIA overturned the decision, so he was back up to 4th. So a really, really good debut for him. I think best rookie performance since, was it 2014?
Yeah, something like that.
So I think that was Kevin Magnussen. Might be 2014.
We'll check that.
No, it was really good performance from him. Difficult conditions that we mentioned. Portoletto, difficult day for him. Doohan, difficult day as well. Even the experienced ones, Fernando Alonso crashed out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Carlos Sainz as well on lap 1, wasn't it? So hard to predict what was going to happen here today.
Yeah, we were given a real thriller. I think it was last year as well, quite an exciting race. So I think hopefully if this sets the tone going forward, then we could be in for a cracking season.
Definitely, and interesting to see the Ferraris not quite where they probably wanted to be.
Yeah, I was going to come on to Ferrari because so much focus was on Lewis Hamilton. His first race in a Ferrari red, and it was really quite interesting, wasn't it? That dynamic. We often talk about Hamilton and Peter Bono, his old race engineer at Mercedes, and they had such a close bond. We remember Hammer Time and that relationship. It clearly was something different today, wasn't it? A whole new experience.
Definitely. I think, you were there as well. We heard a few spicy radio messages, but then when we spoke to him after the race, he definitely downplayed it a bit and said, we're working on things and, it'll come together. I guess it will take time. He was obviously with Bono for, 12 years? So you're not going to have that same kind of relationship overnight.
It is going to take time, isn't it? And, the other thing is that Charles Leclerc as well was fairly evenly matched with Lewis. And, Ferrari will probably look back at this race as a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Probably should have done better than what they actually did.
And a favourite radio message from Ferrari? Any standouts?
Well, that was the one, wasn't it? The water.
The water.
Yeah, it's water. Charles Leclerc complaining about water on his seat.
He confirmed it was his drinks bottle in the end. Yeah, is what it sounds like.
But ultimately, as I say, I think it's, a good race, good place to start the season. We've had some great, great stories coming out of this weekend. Sets the tone going into China now.
Yeah, definitely. Were you surprised by anyone? Albon up quite high?
Yeah, I think Albon was probably my surprise of the day. We mentioned Kimi Antonelli. Surprised to see him so high as a rookie. But that may have been the high attrition and, some of the names that we had expected to be there. But Alex Albon did respond. I mean, a lot, again, has been made in the same way that Lewis Hamilton's moved to Ferrari. A lot has been made about Carlos Sainz leaving Ferrari and joining Williams. And I think that was kind of a solid showing from Albon to prove that, doubters, that's his team. He still wants to be fighting with Sainz for that status as the number one driver. And it was a great performance.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see how things will shake out when they're both, on track together.
Yeah, I think that's one of the relationships we're going to have to watch as well, isn't it? So, but no, really, really good day.
Yeah, fantastic.
Next race is China, so be sure to check out at Autosport all the results and news coming from that next week.